Well, hi. You see my bear up there? Right there? He's a big, fuzzy, soft bear. I'm going to tell you his story too. That bear, not the story, and the story that I'm going to tell you today. That bear I bought when I was on a trip to a town called Indianapolis, and I drove. So it was okay. I put him in the seat next to me, and I put on his seatbelt, and I got home with unscathed, and so did he. And we had a lovely trip. And then talked to him because he's not a puppet. Only talk to puppets. The story we are about to hear and tell together is called Corduroy, written in 1968. It may have been written before, but it was published in 1968 by an amazing author, illustrator, musician, so many things, named Don Freeman. He was born in California, and he literally played his way. I'm not talking um, played ball. He played the cornet and the trumpet all the way across the country, settled in New York, went to New York School of Art. And I found this story about him so interesting. And it just shows to go you how your life can change. He always wanted to be a musician. He loved to draw, but he had not thought of a career in the music world. So it was always playing, and he carried his it was a cornet he was carrying with him, and he had it in the seat next to him on the subway in New York. And he must have been daydreaming or whatever, and he got up to get out really fast because he almost missed his stop. And he left his cornet in the seat next to him. So there he was, without a way to make a living. So he started to become an artist. Now, that's probably a way simpler story. I can't even begin to tell his angst. Oh, you're looking at a bear peeking over my shoulder, or the soft, fuzzy bear that I'm going to use to help me tell this story with you. But first, talk about teddy bears. Lots of stories about teddy bears. Where they come from? Why do we love them so? They're squishy. They tell stories. Here's some very famous teddy bears. Famous. This one is actually a little puppet someone gave me, and his name is Paddington Bear, and he's from a story from England. And his story is that he was left in the station, the train station, and he had a sign on him. It said, "Please look after this bear. Thank you." And they called him Paddington because he was at, you got it, Paddington Station. So someone did take him home. It's a lovely story. And who knows, maybe you'll tell that to me someday, or I'll tell it to you. Now, speaking of moving on, when I went off to college many a year ago, I bought my parents a traveling bear. He didn't travel, they did. And wherever they went, they took John with them. And note this lovely, you can't see it, it's a little sweater that my mom knit him. See, taking care of creatures is part of our family's existence. So this is John. He's been in my family for a very long time. And when he got old and tattered, someone got me this tiny little bear whose name is, actually, I don't know what his name is. Should we give you a name? Okay, how about calling you Little Guy? Want to be Little Guy? Okay. Not that you don't have a great big heart, right? Little Guy has a big heart. So, corduroy, corduroy. Does everyone out there know what corduroy is? Hmm? It's a material. And in the story, our friend Corduroy is wearing a corduroy overall. hmm So I brought along corduroy. I'm not wearing it today, but sometimes I do, and it's usually very soft, and it's got ridges in it. Now, I don't know the story of why it became ridged, but it probably wears a little bit longer. I'll have to look that up for you and let you know. So this is the material called corduroy, and this is the book called Corduroy by Don Freeman, illustrated by Don Freeman. So if you happen to have a bear nearby, a teddy bear, if you happen to own one, I'm going to put my book safely down here. I want you to cuddle up a little closer. You know, you can cuddle with a teddy bear all day long. It doesn't have to be at nighttime. And I actually have one cuddly bear with me, besides Corduroy, who I'll use, or my Corduroy. His name is not Corduroy. So I brought along this bear. Hi. Hi. This bear's name is Theodora. That's my name, Theodora. I'm going to keep it. I know you are, dear. I'm not going to change your name. Theodore is a really good name. Can you tell me a story? I would love to tell you a story. I'd like to tell you a story about Corduroy. He's a bear. Yeah, he is. Do you know him? No. Would you like to know about him? You would like to know about him. Well, who wouldn't? It's a great story. 1968. Do you know how many years old that makes it for you out? You want to tell him? Can you count on your fingers? Ooh, you don't have enough. How about if I help you? Corduroy the story is 53 and a half years old. Whoa, that's pretty old. Are you that old? No, 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 no. Theodore is a very good buddy of mine. You know what I'm going to do? I think it'll be fun. I made a blanket for you out of corduroy, this corduroy shirt. Does it smell nice? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cuddle you up. Mm-hmm. You like that part? I know. Who doesn't? And I'll tell you a story. Okay. You want to? You want to read it with me? You want a part? How's that? You can have a part. Who would you like to be? The little girl? No, I guess I knew that. Would you like to be Corduroy? It's starring role. I can do that. Okay, I know you could. All right, let's just get ready here. We don't have to tell everyone the name, even though I will remind them again. The name of the story is Corduroy, in case you want to look it up sometime, by Don Freeman. And it goes like this. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one day, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. Oh, Mommy, look, that's the very bear I've always wanted. Not today, dear, her mother sighed. I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. I didn't know I'd lost the button. Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it. Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly he felt the floor moving under him quite by accident. He stepped onto an escalator and up he went. Could this be a mountain? I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was a most amazing sight. There were tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows and rows and rows and rows of beds. This must be a palace. I've always wanted to live in a palace. He wandered around admiring the furniture. Oh, this must be a bed. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. And up he climbed onto a large, thick mattress. All at once, Corduroy saw something small and round. Why, there's my button! And he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on a mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both his paws until pop! Off came the button. And off came the mattress. Corduroy toppled bang onto a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a thud, a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Who in the world did that? Someone must be hiding here. He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. Hello, how did you get upstairs? The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a big, wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa, and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I'd saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment, straight to her room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like an enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home. I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you just the way you are, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and she gave him a big hug. And that's what happened to Corduroy. So, if you happen to have a bear, a teddy bear, or someone you love nearby, give them a hug too. As for me, I am going to introduce you to the bear behind me, the bear who drove with me from Indianapolis all the way home so I could give him to my kiddos. So here he is. And look what he's wearing. He is wearing a big overall. Ah, used to belong to my little boy, but look what happened to him. Now, I happen to like him, just like Lisa liked Corduroy, just the way he is, but he needs to have his button fixed, or in his case, his snap. So I'm going to snap to it. And then I'm going to give him a big hug. And then, with your permission, I'd like to thank all the people that helped me get this program to you. That would be Tri-Braining Inc. and the Kaufman Family Foundation, and of course, all of our listeners and the Mentor Project. So tune in to the Mentor Project. There's always a story to listen to. And don't forget to hug somebody who wants to be hugged and to have a great day. And by the way, if you're not too busy, you should live happily ever after. For me, for Corduroy, who I am going to put right here so he can wave goodbye to you, my Corduroy, that is the